What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here today to talk a little bit about some non-sports cards. We kind of haven't done a non-sports card market chit chat video. I was doing those weekly for a hot minute there, and then I just kind of turned Mondays into consistently being something non-sports card related, whether that be cards or comics. I think I may try to pop in and do one of these like once a month or so, or just kind of like as things dictate if something kind of happens. And there was a few different things I just kind of wanted to chit chat about. So we're going to pop in and look at some stuff today. We're going to kick off with Marvel, touch on a little Magic the Gathering and a little bit other TCG stuff. So that's kind of what's on the menu today. So let's hop on to the market movers. We have sealed wax pulled up. We're going to start with that. I just kind of like to check in and see how things are going in the current Marvel sealed wax slash market situation. In terms of recent releases, the most current thing is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I ripped that box on the channel, kind of just more of a low-end fun product for the kids. Prices of boxes of those have come way down. That just hit EPAC this past week. So you're seeing a bunch of singles now flood the market. I know I was hunting for a Haley Steinfeld Spider-Gwen auto, Ghost Spider auto out of that set, and there was like none on the market. And then like the last 3 days, a ton of them have popped up. They're still going for quite a bit of money. I'm going to hold off and wait to see if they come down in price a little bit. I think they probably will. There's a bunch sitting all at around 750 to 800 to 1,000, depending on, there's two different versions of the auto. But if there was any singles that you were looking for out of there that you were chasing that you might want as a character collector or something, probably not a bad time to sneak in and snag something, because all that inventory is hitting the market the tail end of this, or the over the weekend, as people are ripping that product digitally and throwing their hits up on ComC as people chase achievements and stuff like that. We don't 100% know what the next Marvel release set's going to be. There's a bunch of MCU stuff coming, kind of like Into the Spider-Verse, but for the various different movies. The two big ones on my radar, obviously, are Fleer Ultra Avengers. We don't know when we're getting that. And then also, to a lesser extent, Marvel Beginnings. I'm obviously way more jacked for Fleer Ultra Avengers. Pretty excited to see what that product looks like in hand. Boxes for those are still sitting at about $400 on pre-order. I don't know if that'll contract down. I have noticed, and that's part of the reason why I kind of wanted to do this video today, Spider-Man metal boxes have actually come down a little bit as the singles continue to slip for those as well. Kind of the same thing. Singles started off high. They came down a little bit. Then EPAC hit, and then the market really got flooded with stuff. You're just now starting to see prices kind of stabilize out on some PMGs. Some stuff's still slipping. Just depends how much demand's there for the character. But for the most part, I feel like on the PMG side of things and some of the inserts, things are kind of consistently going for around the same prices, at least the stuff that I'm watching. Box prices have slipped all the way down to $525. These were $650 plus at one point in time. These are readily available. I pulled them up on Dave and Adams just to kind of see what they were going for over there. They're $525 to $520, kind of depending on what your status is with DNA. So low 500s available anytime that you want it there. So if you are looking for a box of Spider-Man metal, check retail, check eBay before overpaying for one that might be sitting around somewhere at kind of an outdated price. They're basically now the same price as what X-Men metal boxes are. You see those sitting at $535. These have actually slipped slightly under that. I personally think, and I think most people would agree with me, Spider-Man metal is a superior product, but this is a supply and demand game, and the amount of supply of X-Men metal on the market is pretty low at the moment. You can see only 8 have sold. I think I'm looking at a 60-day graph here. Only 8 boxes have sold on eBay over the last 60 days, and 38 Spider-Man metal boxes have sold. So that inventory is still continuing to flush itself out. I could see Spider-Man boxes creeping back up again as inventory continues to diminish. That was still a very popular product, and a lot of people liked ripping it. I know I had a lot of fun with it. Just touching briefly on the retail side of things, the Spider-Man metal blaster boxes are sitting at about $45, give or take. Those were $30 retail, so those have been sitting kind of, not really making a killing flipping those by any means. Will they age well long term? No idea. There's not a ton of hits in them, but they're kind of the perfect product for a kid to rip. I don't know that I see those things getting super expensive, but we'll see what happens as the Spider-Man metal market continues to kind of tail off here, at least on the single side. I shouldn't say tail off. Level out is probably a better term. And then last but not least, I always like to check in on 90MU. It is a pet project of mine. Those boxes are kind of slipping down as well a little bit. You can see the last sale at $675 with an average over the last 30 days at $700. That's down about $100, give or take. Part of that is, and 37 of those are sold. The supply of those boxes continues to just be endless. A lot of people are still continuing to grade those. It would be an intriguing, if the box prices were a little cheaper, I would almost, for the hell of it, go back into the well and rip one, especially with the $15 PSA grading right now. With the non-sport thing that they're running through the end of the month, it would be fun to dive back into that product. I just don't want to lay out $600 to $700 for a box of that, given the risks of ripping that older wax. Maybe it's G.I. Joe cards. Maybe it's Dungeons and Dragons cards. Who knows? You never know when you open up older wax. Looking at some 90MU PSA 10 singles, that market also, we're looking at a 60-day graph here, continues to kind of be all over the place to this day. You see some big drops for some cards, like the Spider-Man PSA 10 there, down $350 over the last 60. Some stuff up slightly. I wouldn't read too much into the huge up numbers. A lot of this stuff pops off as people get closer and closer to finishing sets. And if you have a couple people chasing the same card, it'll spike the price on it for the time being. That being said, some of this stuff still sells for pretty good prices. You know, a Thor is going for around, $200. Even on the lower end, Punisher, $100. Loki, $100. Moon Knight, $100. At $15 grading, it is super, super risky, obviously. And anyone can go back and watch my old box opening videos from 90MU and the trials and tribulations of how condition sensitive those things are, how miscut a lot of them are. But if you wanted to put the work in, you might be able to grind out a profit still on that if you had a pretty decent box. It would be interesting to test that theory out. I don't know that I have it in me to do it, but if you like to gamble and you like to put the work in, potentially, maybe you could. Let's take a quick glance at the old gem rate numbers for 90MU. This one always cracks me up. It has settled in right at about, actually seeing it ticking back up again, about a 21% gem rate. And you can see the population continue to soar. This is still one of the most graded sets at PSA in a month in, month out basis. We talk about gem rate a lot, but I don't know that I do a good job about utilizing the reports on gem rate. I know some of the people on IG use these very effectively in the Marvel community specifically. But if you ever go to gemrate.com, there are a bunch of different little charts, graphs, deep dives that you could do into population data for grading. But it is interesting to see the population spike as these things got graded more and more, and the gem rate percentage just tank, and the PSA 10 pop just slowly creep up. So 14,000 PSA 10s total across the entire set on the PSA population report. Taking a quick glance at Spider-Man Metal. Once again, this kind of was making the rounds around Instagram this past week, and I just found it comical. The gem rate percentage on Spider-Man Metal is 5.2%. So 5% of the Spider-Man Metal cards submitted got a PSA 10. As someone that looked a bunch of these cards over for grading, I ended up sending mine to CGC. I can see why. These cards are messy, to say the least. A lot of edge chipping on the back. They're in better shape than X-Men Metal. So that says a lot. I expect this pop to stay pretty low. Maybe you see more base cards and like Grandiosas and Golds and variations go in with the $15 grading. But I'm not sure people are still chasing that market as much. A lot of this is going to be PMG, higher end inserts, and a lot of that stuff is just naturally in rough shape. We talked about Spider-Man Metal boxes being kind of at 520. Let's transition out of Marvel and talk Magic 30th for a hot minute. Rudy continues to cover this over at Alpha Investments a bunch, but I just kind of wanted to mention it on here since we have talked about it a few times. It's been essentially confirmed at this point that there are thousands of these things left over, and it sounds like Wizards of the Coast is going to send these out to their WPN stores. And according to Rudy over at Alpha Investments, each store is going to get 4 boxes. If you actually spent money on one of these as a flip, your limited inventory on the market is about to get jacked up. Even if every store that got 4. And I think there's like 600 or 700 stores. I forget how many stores are in the WPN market or network rather. If every store just sold 1, that is enough to tank the market. If they just took the other 3 and ran tournaments, did giveaways, whatever. But if each store just said, I'm going to take 1 of these because it's pure profit, they're getting them for free. They can do whatever they want with them. It would literally just tank the market with that much supply hitting the market all at once, when even though that these things are air quote rare, the demand is not there for them. And this is kind of one of the things I talked about. People were speculating when this kind of was all first going down that if no one actually buys these, there won't be a lot of them. Maybe this is actually a good run out and grab one. And I kind of warned the danger is, we're assuming all these were printed. What does Wizards do? What does Hasbro do with the leftovers? That was always the scary part. And it seems like they're giving them away for free. So it'll be interesting to see the ramifications on the Magic 30th sealed box. Right now they're going for $1,500-$1,600 on eBay and that price on TCG Player. I would never touch this product personally. I have no desire. One, I don't have any desire to rip Magic physical products anyways. I'll stick to my playing on Arena on occasion. And from a sealed wax perspective, this is not what I'm looking for. What I am looking for, and what I'm waiting to decide what I want to do, Dominaria Remastered. I am probably going to get some of this. The last Magic product that I bought on release, not counting Amazon dumps, was Double Masters. I still have my sealed case of that. That's basically been floating about even. That spiked up a little bit, and that I noticed that has kind of started to pull back just a little bit on the single box prices. But I am pretty excited about the stuff that I'm seeing on Dominaria Remastered. It is a reprint set. I don't think I'm going to go after collector's boxes. Those are sitting at close to $300. David Adams currently is the cheapest that I have found. My LGS that I usually pre-order from was $300 on collectors and $200 on draft. I have not ordered anything yet. I'm going to wait to see what Rudy has them for. I am a Patreon member of Rudy, so I could potentially order from him. I'm going to see what he lists his up at and then kind of go from there. But I'm thinking about maybe getting a case of draft when it comes to this product. It just looks intriguing to me. I was just flipping through screenshots of it, and it hit me in the memory fields because it's just all reprints from when I used to play. And these products typically perform pretty well, so I'm at least interested in trying it out. Now, I am no sealed Magic product expert, so this is not financial advice by any means. Nothing I say is financial advice. This is just what I may spec on and take a flyer on it and see what happens. And this would be a longer term hold. Any of the TCG product stuff is more of a long term hold. I just don't know on the collector's boxes what's super special about these ones. I don't think there's like a serial numbered card or anything like that. I'm sure there'll be some crazy chase thing. But for the price, I think I would rather just have a sealed case of draft rather than a handful of boosters. Or, I'm sorry, collectors for the amount that I'm looking to put into it. But that's the next big Magic release. Next thing I'm going to talk about, listen, I am no expert on this stuff at all. Like, I know next to nothing about Pokemon, but I wanted to at least mention a lot of people are getting very hyped for the next Pokemon release. It is not a booster box product release. It's like a collection release, something like that. I don't know. I just see a lot of buzz. I see a lot of YouTube videos with people freaking out, a lot of Discords with people freaking out. So apparently Crown Zenith's going to be a big deal. With that being said, I ask you, the viewers of my channel, if you are into the Pikachus and the Zarchars and the whatever else, who would you recommend that I go check out in the Pokemon content sphere? I already, I know Pokenomics. He doesn't really post a ton of videos. He does live streams on occasion. I made an appearance on his channel, so I am aware of him. I am subscribed to him. I watch some of his stuff. But I'm just curious who out there is kind of just giving good, down the earth, not pumpy dumpy, just kind of, market chit chat stuff about the Pikachus. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm not looking for someone that's just hyping whatever the next thing is. Someone that's giving realistic, worldviews of this stuff as I try to expand my knowledge in this. I'm not beyond just randomly touching on maybe what a new release is or maybe me buying something. That's the extent of my Pokemon content. It'll be a little add-on into a current video. do not expect exclusive Pikachu videos from me. But I continue to be, I mentioned it in the Black Friday haul video, I continue to be very interested in Pokemon sealed wax. And I'm just using my two eyes in the world around me when I go around, especially to card shows and just in general when I'm at an LCS or an LGS, the amount of people just interested in it. Yeah, duh, I'm late to the party on that one. But when I see that, that just makes me think that sealed product over the long haul is going to potentially age well. That is the reason why I've kind of diversified into picking up a few of those boxes. Same reason why I started picking up a couple sealed Magic boxes as well. Now, obviously, who knows what the general macro world could do. This could all be for naught, but I'm willing to take a little risk with some of this stuff for a non-traditional investment flyer, whatever you want to call it. As I've said in a lot of videos, a lot of people ask, like, isn't there better places you could put your money, this, that, or the other thing? I kind of have those bases covered already. And for me, the quote that I always use to describe this is from the movie Heat. The action is the juice. The fun of the, I don't know, trying to outsmart, but just maneuver in and out of these collectible categories and trying to do it correctly, smartly. That to me is the exciting part of it. And then off the side, if I can break even, take a slight loss, or make a profit, that's the fun part. So for me, it's as much about that as it is, making 20% on a sealed box purchase or something like that. This is just a fun little side hustle / hobby / whatever you want to call it. So that's all I have for you guys and girls today. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.